myself, I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Morning, everybody. Well, I'm unscripted today, so anything can happen. I just got done with a visit from my nieces and nephews who came over to wish my father a happy Father's Day or a happy Pops Day. Yeah, they're here a day. They were here a day early. They messed up my office, and now they're gone. So yeah, we do have some big news today, as I'm about to stick it in chat. We did launch our shop today. One real product, or one version of the product, and about 7 items, and I'm making $1 or $2 off, or I think the top is $4 off of some of the items, but that's probably as low as I could get away with. So if you want to take a look, this is our Teespring store. It's launched with our logo right now. Next week we will probably be listing sidebar merchandise. So get your sidebar here over in our Teespring store. Tomorrow we'll be launching our Patreon. I'll be filling it up all day tomorrow with a lot of good new stuff. And there will be both a free area and a paid area. So anything is fantastic to have you over there. I know one thing we'll be featuring is our end credit scenes. Those have been pretty popular. Special thanks to Pope and Hank for the last couple ones. And remember, tonight, right after this, at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. where it counts, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. on the West Coast, we'll be doing our Saturday night panel. And commentator, auditor, no OnlyFans nudes. Yeah, I get paid to put my clothes back on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With that, let's get on with the news, and I will see you in about 13 minutes.
The GoFundMe conspiracy continues. In the maddening world that is the GoFundMe coverage, a single $7 donation to Jose Chile de Castro's lawyer fund only, all dollars go to lawyers, prevented the start of another countdown towards the elimination of this column and video segment from our ongoing segments presented in both the paper and the newscast. $7. Who did it? Was it Gia? Was it Pants? Was it someone who knows how to spell anonymous? Someone did it. Someone gave the bare minimum amount to keep things going and make my torment continue. Speaking of living in a world of hell, Christopher Denver Metro Audits Cordova's wait for a judge to determine his fate will go on into a second week, as there's been no movement in his appeals trial. He's said to be appealing his sentencing in the infamous invasion of a Social Security Administration building from an incident 2 years ago. Rumor had it that he was also now challenging the entire verdict, though the court docs don't reflect that. A judge heard from both sides last week and said a ruling was coming soon. Soon apparently means more than a week, as there's been nothing from the court as of yet. While the ruling is outstanding, Cordova must at least pretend to abide by the terms laid out in his possible probation, or else face a stray eyeball or two that will wonder if he's learned anything. Abiding by probation would include things like no more auditing and getting a job, which, he kind of hasn't been doing much of lately, as he's been lazily re-editing and re-uploading things like his statements at the Inglewood City Council meetings. It's in an effort to make as much money off of as little work as possible. He has, however, started doing prank segments, where he and another auditor torment a third auditor by making prank telephone calls. It sounds cooler than it is, and neither man has a real sense of humor, and there's no real payoff, as the punked person is someone not widely known by the audience, or someone they have no reason to care about. Work is hard. Work doesn't seem to be happening, and Cordova will have to see what sort of fresh hell is heading his way should the judge not rule in his favor. As always, if you'd like to give us reason to continue not having to get a real job, we do have a GoFundMe of our own located in the scroll below. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. Chaotic day in Karen Reed case. The Karen Reed murder trial was filled with twists and turns on Friday as a juror was dismissed, another juror was caught on camera, and everyone had a pissy day in court, while the most important evidence of the trial was presented to a limited audience. When a day starts with a sidebar, something is up. The jury wasn't even brought in when Judge Beverly Cannoni asked for both sides to come up to a sidebar. That sidebar extended over 40 minutes, without instructions to shut off the pool camera that sends the single feed from the courtroom to all the networks. During that time, the camera caught two bailiffs escorting a woman in a red dress to see the judge. This was apparently a juror, and resulted in backlash from the judge, who ordered the camera to be shut off for the remainder of the morning session. The feed went dark. Our own coverage on the Really Cool Site YouTube channel ended as we had no feed, and we were being told that the feeds would be coming up a little after noon, so a break was in order. During this time, a rumor persisted that a juror had visited a nightclub that had been mentioned in the case, and that the judge was interviewing all of the jurors to see which one it was. That rumor was never confirmed, but we know from Aidan Turtleboy Kearney and others reporting from within the courthouse during that time that jurors were being interviewed as the camera was dark. It would be eventually revealed that a juror was dismissed for unknown reasons Friday morning, the second juror to be dismissed from the case. Again, circumstances why they were dismissed were never revealed, and the trial resumed. The judge eventually allowed the pool feed to resume via Zoom call for the rest of the morning session, which gave two new and unfortunate viewing angles from temporary cameras placed in the court. Of course, the most important testimony happened during this bizarre time, as data expert Jessica Hyde testified that there was no indication of a search for how long to die in the cold happened at 2:27 a.m. or anywhere near that time. The timestamp in question was made as the tab in the browser was opened, and a search was made for a sports-related topic at that time. Later, as Jen McCabe didn't close the tab on her phone, she reused the tab after Karen Reed instructed her to Google how long does it take to die in the cold. The defense in Turtleboy and all of Karen Reed Nation was holding out hope that the timestamp was real, and nothing changed after the testimony. Turtleboy proclaimed that Reed would be vindicated with an acquittal, and none of the actual evidence mattered, as the jury simply would be unable to understand the data presented. Pro-Karen Reed media outlets pounced because the data expert, quote, could not rule out, unquote, the search was made at 2:27 a.m., even though the expert said there was also no proof that a search was not made for pandas at the same time, because there was no data indicating a search. They ran articles with hope, slight hope, that the 2:27 a.m. search was still a real thing because there was no data showing it happened. The rest of the afternoon saw testimony from Massachusetts State Trooper Joseph Paul, a collision and reconstruction expert. His testimony verified that injuries on victim John O'Keefe's body were consistent with being struck by a car, and that the analysis of Karen Reed's vehicle showed no mechanical problems with her SUV. Paul also testified that data taken from the car indicated that some sort of event happened as Reed backed up and then pulled forward. The damage to her car and damage to O'Keefe's body also indicated some sort of event happened that night. Judge Beverly Cannoni excused the jury early as an impromptu voir dire session was held. The defense then argued to exclude evidence that Reed's SUV was not damaged when it supposedly hit O'Keefe's vehicle on footage of Karen Reed backing out of O'Keefe's driveway that the prosecution wanted to use. The Karen Reed trial resumes with a full day on Monday. The jurors are excused on Tuesday, while the court has an extended voir dire session with defense experts. They have a day off on Wednesday due to the Juneteenth holiday, then are back for a full day on Thursday and a half day on Friday. DeCastro LVMPD suit in final stages. The defendants in Jose Chile DeCastro's lawsuit seeking a multi-million-dollar judgment against the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police went for the juggler on Friday in filing a motion for summary judgment. Friday's motion was accompanied by the body cam footage of all the officers on the scene, DeCastro's videos released to his YouTube channel analyzing the March 2023 arrest, and a separate series of videos from DeCastro's channel where he admits that he had intended to provoke arrest in the incident in order to file suit against the LVMPD. The defense also points out the inclusion of the video of DeCastro's pat-down, where he alleged that he was viciously struck in the groin. DeCastro did not react to Officer Brandon Bork's pat-down, and the footage does not show a strike to DeCastro's groin. In the legal arguments, the defense pointed out that despite DeCastro's claims, the 1st, 2nd, 10th, and 11th causes of action were already dismissed with prejudice by the judge last year. DeCastro included them in his second amended complaint, despite the fact that they were already dismissed. They also assert that DeCastro's claim of excessive force cannot stand, as there was no evidence presented of excessive force. Likewise, the failure to intervene cause of action fails, as there was no reason to intervene. According to the defense, the selective enforcement claim fails due to the fact that while DeCastro made the claim that the defendants selectively enforced laws against people with white lips, brown skin, people that express criticism over law enforcement, those recording police interactions, and those publicizing information on police misconduct, he's provided no evidence to back those claims. The defense contends the rest of the causes of actions failed due to similar circumstances. DeCastro has made the claims but never followed through with proving the claims. They conclude that a summary judgment should be granted, as there's simply no evidence to back DeCastro's claims. DeCastro himself may not get the chance to officially reply to the motion, as before he was convicted of the charges involved in the case, he had then attorney Michael Mee make an appearance in the case and take over as counsel on record. The YouTuber is currently claiming that Mee mishandled his criminal case in relation to these charges, and it is unclear if Mee is still working with DeCastro in the case. No change of record has been made, so Mee is still responsible for any response filings at press time. With DeCastro distracted by all of his other legal cases, this case may end up having to wait for DeCastro to respond to the motion until after he is eventually released from the Clark County, Nevada detention center, if it survives that long. Sirio serves Mukilteo. YouTuber and post office enthusiast Glenn Sirio claims to have successfully served the town of Mukilteo, Washington, with his $50 million lawsuit this week, despite evidence otherwise. Sirio filmed himself outside Mukilteo's town hall and claimed that he was there to sue various members of the Mukilteo police force. He briefly held up a document stating it was paperwork related to the case of Glenn R. Sirio versus Andy Island. The paperwork included a notice of small claim and mediation hearing for August 6, 2024. The YouTuber said that he had multiple lawsuits against everyone involved in his 2023 arrest in Mukilteo, and he was suing on grounds of false arrest, stating that he had a gun, and over a threat made to kill him. After waiting in line to meet with officials, which he strangely left in the video, he was approached by the Public Works Director, who wanted to know if he could help Sirio. Sirio said he didn't want Public Works, calling it maintenance, and said he'd only ask the man if he needed help with a pipe. He asked for management, which the man indicated he was, but Sirio insisted that Public Works couldn't help him as the man attempted to assist him. The man later returned with the city clerk. Sirio insisted he wanted to see management and insisted on now meeting with the city administrator. The pair eventually returned with the city administrator. Sirio then had a process server hand the city administrator the multiple lawsuits. When told that the city administrator legally could not accept service, Sirio refused to have his process server serve the city clerk, who was the only one who could legally accept service. Serio claimed he was going to sue the city in federal court for $50 million and insisted he properly served the city, despite their claims otherwise. The city administrator again stated that they were not properly served, then excused himself. The city clerk then promised to return with a copy of the city regulations stating that she was the only person who could accept service, and Serio's video ended with him standing in the lobby of the building, awaiting the clerk, without resolution. Flashback, June 15, 2023. Jason A. Jensen's motion denied. Internet user Jason A. Jensen suffered a second setback at the hands of the Las Vegas-based federal district court as Judge Andrew P. Gordon denied Jensen's motion for leave to file in opposition to the defendant's motion to dismiss. Going further, Judge Gordon ordered Jensen to cease filing documents in the case. Judge Gordon making clear that a properly supported motion to allow his joinder or intervention was still pending, and he may not file other documents in the case unless that motion is granted. The judge then instructed the clerk of the court to disregard the documents that Jensen had submitted to date and only file his motions to intervene in or join the lawsuit. Jensen appeared in Jose Chile de Castro's side chat during a live stream earlier in the week, claiming that he was prepared to intervene on behalf of de Castro. He then filed a joinder motion asking the court to postpone de Castro's pending state-level criminal trial and to block the state from continuing to use obstruction charges who wanted to interview subjects of traffic stops during said traffic stops. Appearing on the Welsh News Network Tuesday night, Jensen claimed that he did not know de Castro and that de Castro was just a crazy guy on the internet. This is a breaking story.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Gia versus Anthony. Oh, that'll be a criminal trial to see. Let's see. Let me check StreamYard. StreamYard has a message from someone. It says, refreshing. Greg Jonick, proving I was first and not for ice cream. Well, thank you, Greg Jonick, for the $10 tip. If anyone else wants to get on it, it's pinned to the top of every chat we have. Again, we did launch our Teespring shop a day early. Right now we're featuring items from bearing our logo. I'm only making, I think I'm making $4 off of the most expensive thing there. We have reduced prices from their suggested prices. We're trying to keep things, some things under $10, something for everybody. And I'm not going to gouge you guys. It's promotional material. I'm only making $1 or $2 off of most of it. So please take a look. And next week, we will probably be launching Sidebar. Get your Sidebar here. Merchandise. So stay tuned for that. I'll be doing some designing tomorrow. Also tomorrow, we will be launching our Patreon. As I said earlier, we'll be having free and paid areas of the Patreon. I'll be working on an 8-minute vlog for the paid area every day, or maybe 5 days a week, depends on how my voice is in the morning. You will hear my thoughts on things like living in the country and being up at 3 a.m. and, oh, that cat's fighting that cat, and why is there a raccoon on the front porch with a gun? Yes, anything that can happen in the morning, you'll probably hear me bitch about it on that voice, or on that video or even audio log. I'm not sure. I don't think you're going to want to see my face if I tape them at 3 a.m. Anyway, the Patreon will be announced tomorrow in some sort. The merch store is live now. And in about an hour, we'll be live right back here with our all-star panel for Saturday. I'll be sending out invites. We may even get Anthony Caruso on if he's around. I know it's World Pants Day tomorrow, so we may have some stuff to do with pants tonight. I don't know. But there will be no nudes at 3 a.m. I'm sorry, but worldwide pants means we'll be clothed at all times. With that, folks, I'm going to get out of here. There is a post-credit scene if you want to stick around for it. And with that, I will see everybody in about an hour, as long as my voice holds out.